I'm sure you know what these are. These are Sonos speakers. You can put 10 of them in 10 different rooms in your home, and you could stream Spotify or Tidal or even local music files throughout all the speakers in your home. You can even talk to these if you want to and control your music or even your lights. The problem is, these are really expensive and they're powered by Amazon and Google, some of the biggest companies in the world that I don't want listening to conversations in my home.
I'm not listening to you. You're crazy.
In the last video, we built our own voice assistant, which is called the Wyoming Voice Satellite. It's really small, and we installed it into the ceiling of our home. We even hooked it up to ChatGPT to make it super smart. If you haven't seen that video, please go watch that video first. In this video, we're going to push these voice satellites to the limit by turning them into little Sonos speakers, and then we're going to stream music throughout all the rooms in our home, and we're going to do it with just our voice. You ready? Let's go. Okay, so first let's start with a really quick demo of what we're about to build. On the left, you see the Home Assistant user interface that controls everything in my smart home. Lights, locks, doors, televisions. It can even tell me which people are in which rooms, which is called presence detection, and I will build an entire series on how to build presence detection in your home. Don't worry, it's coming. Now, on top of Home Assistant, I've recently installed the Music Assistant add-on. And you'll see that Music Assistant looks a lot like Spotify. In fact, it connects to Spotify, it connects to Tidal, and it can even play local music files if you want to. Now on the right camera over here is my voice assistant that we can pretend is installed in my loft ceiling, and its audio is coming out through my in-ceiling speakers. This voice assistant is connected to ChatGPT, and it can actually talk to Home Assistant and control my music. So let's play something. Hey Jarvis, play royalty-free music.
The royalty-free music is now playing.
Okay, so music is now playing, and the first thing I want to point out is when you don't specify a room to play in, it will by default play on that voice satellite. So in this case, it's playing in the loft. Let's turn the volume down. Hey Jarvis, turn the loft volume down to 20%.
The loft volume has been adjusted to 20%.
Now you may notice that the user interface did not update to indicate the volume's at 20%. That's just one of the bugs of Music Assistant. It is still in beta, so there are issues like that. But the good news is we're going to be controlling all this with our voice anyway. Let's skip to the next track. Hey Jarvis, play the next song in the loft.
The next song in the loft has been played.
Hey Jarvis, what's the name of the song playing in the loft right now?
The song playing in the loft right now is Falling Short by La Liberté from the album Evolution.
Now I'm going to pause the music, and I want you to notice that when I talk to the voice assistant, the volume is automatically turned down for you on the music. Hey Jarvis, pause the music.
The music has been paused.
I do want to point out that I could have said play some artist name in some room, and it would automatically have streamed the music to that room. And then in this user interface, you can actually go in and you can join multiple rooms together if you want to play that song across multiple rooms. Hopefully that demo got you hooked and now you want to build it. Are you ready to build your own GPT-powered Wyoming voice satellite that behaves like a Sonos? All right, crack your knuckles, because it's about to get really nerdy in here. Okay, so at this point, you need to have already built your first Wyoming voice satellite successfully. You can do that by following these steps here on the Home Assistant documentation. You can also watch my previous video that'll walk you through how to do that. So if I go into my Home Assistant and I click on Settings, Integrations, and then go down to Wyoming Protocol, you'll see that I have this media room satellite that still needs to be configured for whole home audio. The loft satellite is already complete. The steps to enhance your Wyoming voice satellite to support whole home audio can be found at Future Proof Homes, Wyoming-Enhancements repository. You'll see in here that there is the first enhancement, which is how to connect your Wyoming voice satellite to ChatGPT. And then there's enhancement number 2, which shows you how to set up your multi-room music streaming. Let's do that now. At a high level, there are 6 steps we need to go through. The first step is to install the Snapcast server on your Home Assistant. Then we need to install PulseAudio into your Wyoming voice satellite. That enables the voice assistant to speak at the same time that you're playing music. The third is to install the Snap client on your Wyoming voice satellite, and that's so they can all communicate with each other and stream music at the same time. The fourth step is to slightly modify the Wyoming voice satellite so that it supports our enhancement. The fifth step is to install Music Assistant into your Home Assistant server. And the sixth step is to teach ChatGPT so that it and your Wyoming voice satellite can talk to Music Assistant to control your music. All right, let's start with step 1. We need to go and install the unofficial Snapcast server. So open up this repo by art-ev. Thanks for your work, by the way. And let's copy that URL. Now head into your Home Assistant and go to Settings and then Add-ons, and then go to the Add-on Store. Click the 3 dots in the top right-hand corner, click Repositories, and paste in art-ev's add-on Snap server. Click Add. Now you're going to see that you have a Snap server add-on here for HassOS. Great. Inside the add-on store, search for Snapcast, and you'll see the server. Click Install. This may take a few minutes, so just be patient.
A few minutes later.
After the Snapcast server has been installed, the instructions state that you're going to want to go to the Configuration tab and set the sample format to 44100:16:2, which is basically CD quality audio. That's the best quality audio that you can pretty much get out of the Pi mic hat. Also, the buffer, you could set that to 333 milliseconds. If you experience any lagging or skipping, you can increase that buffer to have a better audio stream. Okay, let's do it. 44100:16:2, and we'll set our buffer to 333. Click Save, and then we're going to go back to Info, turn everything on, and click Start. Let's take a look at our logs. All right, everything looks good. Don't worry about these warn commands that you might see. In section 2, we need to SSH into your Wyoming voice satellite and install PulseAudio, a Linux sound server that allows you to mix multiple audio streams and control the volume, and it's what the Snapcast client is going to use to pass audio into your Pi mic hat and out to your speakers. Remember, I need to do this work on my media room satellite, so let's SSH into that, and let's temporarily disable all the Wyoming services. Okay, now let's install PulseAudio. All right, let's reboot our Pi.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
And then when it comes back up, SSH back into it. Okay, we need to slightly modify PulseAudio so that it runs at a system-wide level across all of your users. Let's do that now. We're going to edit the PulseAudio client configuration, and we're going to set auto spawn to no. Control X, yes to save the buffer, enter to exit. And now we're going to create our PulseAudio service to ensure that it's always running. Paste in the service file. All right, now let's enable our new service. And we need to type in our password. And let's start our new service. One more time, type in your password. Great. On step 10, we're going to specify which users should have access to the system-wide PulseAudio instance. Be sure to edit this command to specify your user. Now let's reboot our Pi one more time.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
And then we'll SSH back in after it successfully reboots. After your Pi reboots, you'll notice that step 12 is optional. If you're plugging speakers into these ports right here, you don't need to do step 12. If you're plugging into a headphone jack like I am, then we have to follow these steps. Let's do it. Run PulseAudio control list syncs, and you'll see that you have one sync here, and at the very bottom, it's analog output to speaker. We want to change that to headphone. So let's grab this next command, pactl set sync port 1 to analog output headphones. Now in step 13, we can plug in our headphones and run a test audio file.
Front, center.
Perfect. Now let's modify a PulseAudio system file to teach PulseAudio how to automatically turn the volume down whenever you're talking with the voice assistant, and then to turn that music volume all the way back up when you're done talking to the voice assistant. Scroll down to the bottom of this file and paste in module role ducking. Okay, and let's reboot one more time just for good measure.
Have you tried turning it off? You know what? I'm sick of saying that.
Now that your Pi is rebooted, let's SSH back into it again. Make sure that you're in your home directory. Mine is Media Room Satellite. Then we're going to pull down my Wyoming Enhancements repository because there's scripts in there that you're going to need in later steps. And now we're going to download the Snapcast binary file for install. And finally, go ahead and install Snapcast. Now that we've installed the Snap client, let's modify some of the default settings when it launches. Grab this sudo nano command. Modify the Snap client options to pass in the following parameters. -H stands for host. This needs to be the IP address of your Home Assistant server where the Snap server is running. Then you're telling Snap client that it's going to use PulseAudio as the player, and it's going to pass in a property called roll music. This is how the module knows to duck down the volume when music is playing versus when the voice assistant is talking. Also, we want to set our sample format to CD quality, just like we did on the server. Let's save this document. Since the Snap client has a dependency on PulseAudio, we're going to modify the Snap client service so that it waits for the PulseAudio layer to be loaded. Go down to the after section and put PulseAudio.service. Let's reboot our Pi.
Okay, so now, turn it back on again.
And then we'll SSH back in after the reboot. Okay, let's run this systemctl status command to make sure that both of our services are running. And we can see that they are both green and have active running next to them. Awesome. Let's move on to the next step. Now we're going to create a cloned copy of our existing Wyoming satellite service because we're going to modify it to use PulseAudio. So let's run our systemctl edit command to modify our new enhanced Wyoming satellite service. Add requires equals PulseAudio.service. And then go ahead and clear out everything in your current mic command and replace it with our PA record command. And let's do the same thing for the S&D command parameter and paste in my PA play command. Notice that our PA play command is using a sample rate of 44,100. So we need to go down to our S&D command rate and also set that to 44,100. Now we're going to add in a new detection command parameter. This is responsible for executing a script whenever you're speaking to your voice assistant that triggers the volume to turn down. Make sure to modify this command so it points to your user directory. Another new parameter we're introducing is the TTS stop command. This is just a script that's going to tell the volume to turn back up after you're done communicating with your voice assistant. Take a close look at your new service and just make sure everything looks correct. Save the file and exit. Let's start our newly created enhanced Wyoming satellite service. And now let's make sure that the enhanced Wyoming service plus the 2-mic LED service, the Open Wake Word service, and the PulseAudio service, and the Snap client service are all running successfully. Great. It looks like all 5 services are running as expected. Let's move on to the next step. In part 5, we're going to install Music Assistant on top of the Home Assistant platform. Take a look at the Music Assistant's repository and just follow their steps. It's much easier that way. Inside Home Assistant, go into the Home Assistant Community Store, click on Integrations, go down to the bottom right, Explore and Download Repositories, search for Music Assistant, click on Download on the bottom right-hand corner. Make sure Show Beta Versions is turned on, and select the most recent beta version. If you experience a weird error where you can't click on it, click on the second choice, wait, and then go back in and then click on the most recent version. Now click download. Let's restart Home Assistant.
Turning it off and on again!
And then we'll install Music Assistant after that. Okay, per the Music Assistant documentation, after you've restarted Home Assistant, you'll want to go to Configurations, Integrations, and then click the plus button to add Music Assistant. Settings, Integrations, Add Integration on the bottom right, Music Assistant, and then we're going to set this to our conversation agent, which is Extended OpenAI Conversation. We're also going to check the box that says Expose Players to Assist. Click Submit.
One eternity later.
If you get this error while installing Music Assistant, don't worry, here's what you do. Click Close, go over to your add-ons, and make sure that Music Assistant is currently running. I'll take a look at my logs. Everything looks green, so we're in good shape. If you don't see green here, then just go ahead and click the Start button. While I'm here, I'm going to turn on Watchdog Auto Update and Show in the sidebar. Let's go back to our integrations, and then we're going to click Configure, and let's put these in the right groups. Great. Now let's go into Music Assistant and connect Spotify and connect our Snapcast players. In your menu, you should now have a Music Assistant choice. Click on the settings icon and click Add Music Provider, and let's do Spotify. And let's go ahead and sign in. Now let's go and connect Snapcast to Music Assistant. Under the player providers, you can click Add Player Provider, and you'll see Snapcast in there. All of this can remain default. Click Save. I'm going to go disable all my other player providers like Sonos and Chromecast and AirPlay because I don't want to see those in Music Assistant right now. Be sure you leave Universal Group Player turned on. That just allows you to group multiple speakers into a group. Okay, now if you scroll up and you click on Players, you'll see that you have your Loft satellite, which I've always had connected, and our new Media Room satellite is there. Let's search and play some music on our new Media Room satellite real quick. Click on the search icon. We'll search for Queen. Turn the volume down to 25% so you don't blow your ears out. Click on the song you want to play. Make sure it's playing on the correct satellite. Click play now. You should hear music coming out of your new satellite. Be sure and talk to the voice assistant while music is playing to make sure that the volume ducks down and then turns back up after you're done talking. Oh yeah, don't forget to expose your satellites to Assist so that ChatGPT can see it. Go to Settings, then Devices and Services, Music Assistant. Go to our new Media Room satellite. Let's click on that entity, click on the settings, voice assistants, and we want to expose that to Assist. I'll do the same thing for my Loft satellite as well. In part 6, the final part of this tutorial, you'll see that I'm introducing a script called Play Music. Let's walk through it. When you say to OpenAI, play Foo Fighters in the Loft, you'll see in a little bit that we will teach OpenAI to call this script and pass in 2 arguments. The first argument is music query. In this case, it would be Foo Fighters. The second argument is the Music Assistant Media Player. After those variables have been defined, it will use Music Assistant's search capability to pass in the music query, Foo Fighters, and then come back with all the playlists. The next step is to flush out any existing music that might already be playing on this particular player. And the last step is to call Music Assistant's Play Media service and to pass in the entity of the Music Assistant satellite that you want to play on, as well as the URI for the first playlist result. This is just one script. There are probably many more that you guys want to create, and I hope this kind of helps get you started. Now let's take a look at this other Play Music script that's a little bit more advanced and you should use at your own risk. Imagine if instead of saying play Foo Fighters in the Loft, you just say play Foo Fighters. This script is trying to figure out the most recent satellite that was interacted with, and then it plays the music on that satellite. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So let's copy this script, then go into Home Assistant, go to Settings, go to Automations and Scenes, click on Scripts, Add Script, Create New Script, and we'll call it Play Music. Click on the 3 dots in the top right-hand corner, Edit in YAML, and then you can paste in my script. Click Save. Great. The last thing we need to do is go and grab the spec that teaches OpenAI how to call this script and what arguments to pass in. Let's copy. In Settings, we'll go to our voice assistant, to the correct pipeline that's using ChatGPT. We'll click to edit the conversation agent for the extended OpenAI conversation. Scroll down to the bottom and paste in this new spec. Click Submit. Okay, so now you should be able to ask your Loft satellite to play music on the media room or vice versa. Let's give it a shot. Hey Jarvis, play royalty-free music in the media room.
Royalty-free music is now playing in the media room.
All right, guys, there you go. You've built your own Sonos with your own Wyoming satellites. I hope this is as cool to you as it is to me. And if you're still here, I just want to say thank you to all the subscribers and the commenters. It really means a lot that you tune in to these videos. It's exciting for me. I appreciate you guys, and I won't let you down. Thanks a bunch. All right, see you soon. Bye.
Hello, IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again?